Hey you filthy slaves that built the pyramids. I will now be ranking the studio discography of ancient Egypt-obsessed American technical death metalers Nile. Enjoy. Number 10 is What Should Not Be Unearthed. The last album to feature Dallas Toller Wade. It overall isn't bad, it's just very middle of the road for them, and they thrive with experimentation and grandiosity. It's what you expect basically, which possibly is why Toller Wade left. The track I'd recommend is Evil to Cast Out Evil. Number 9 is Vile Nilotic Rites. The first album with New Blood Brian Kingsland and Brad Paris. It is invigorated compared to the previous album, but then again it suffers from the same issue of being very in the middle for the band's material. The track I'd recommend is the Oxford Handbook of Savage Genocidal Warfare. Number 8 is The Underworld Awaits Us All. The band's most recent album, and the first with a 5-man triple guitar lineup. It is a step forward into the right direction, bringing back a heavier and darker sound, but it still isn't as captivating as their earlier material. That artwork is brilliant though. The track I'd recommend is Chapter for Not Being Hung Upside Down on a Stake in the Underworld and Made to Eat Feces by the Four Apes. Number 7 is Black Seeds of Vengeance. The first album took feature Dallas Toller Wade and the only album to feature the power of Derek Roddy behind the drum kit. It has an interesting cultish and otherworldly feel to it. While I don't think it's as impressive or as powerful as their debut, it was very much a taste of what was to come from the project. The track I'd recommend is Masturbating the War God. Number 6 is At the Gates of Setu. Possibly the band's most experimental and progressive album. It's very similar to what Akercock were attempting with their album. Words that go unspoken, deeds that go undone. Experimenting with different genre twists and even some clean vocals. It's an interesting moment in the band's career that may have produced some interesting results. The track I'd recommend is The Chaining of the Iniquitous. Number 5 is Amongst the Catacombs of Nephron Ka. The band's debut album. It took the death metal sound and added incredible speed and technicality, but also adding the ancient Egyptian chromatic melodies that made the band what they are today. The album also has some interesting interplay with the vocals, with a very raw emotional sound that makes the album very unique. The track I'd recommend is Ramses Bringer of War. Number 4 is Those Whom the Gods Detest. In my opinion, the last real fantastic album, ending their 4-album streak of classics. This saw the band exploring more philosophical lyrics, but still keeping the Egyptian side in check. The grandiosity of their previous albums is still there, but with great hooks and powerful heavy moments. The track I'd recommend is Kaffir. Number 3 is In Their Darkened Shrines. The band's most grandiose and indulgent album, showcasing the band's longest tracks. It also contains some of the band's all-time classic shorter songs too. The first album to feature the absolute powerhouse of drum legend George Collias. It has a sonic scope that only Egyptian gods could conjure forth. Experimental in the right places, it is a real turning point in the band's career. The track I'd recommend is Una's Slayer of the Gods. Number 2 is Ithyphallic, possibly the band's most accessible album. It isn't without any lack of experimentation of grandiosity. Production-wise it's one of their most bombastic, with epic horns and an overall fantastic mix. It contains the band's oddest but greatest lyrics throughout. The band are at full power and are very much making a statement. I mean, artwork with an erect totem isn't something you see every day. The track I'd recommend is Papyrus, containing the spell to preserve its possessor against attacks from he who is in the water. In my opinion, the best Nile album is Annihilation of the Wicked. The band at their greatest, with a great focus on everything that makes the band what they are. The brutality and speed is turned up to insane levels. Carl Sanders and Dallas Toller Wade's trade-off between vocals and licks is blistering and demonic. The scope of the songs goes from exercises of madness into epic scope that sounds as if they are literally summoning Egyptian gods to fight like giant kaijus. Lyrically, the album is perfect, with great attention to the mythology. I recommend getting the physical copy of this album, because Sanders basically writes a book of Egyptian mythology to accompany the music. When it comes to technical death metal or extreme metal in general, this is one of the greatest albums to come out of this genre. The track I'd recommend is Cast Down the Heretic. Thanks for watching. Recommend me another band to do this with, or else I'll make you write out the names of all the long-titled Nile songs until you get carpal tunnel syndrome.